I think it's completely fine to be a total nervous wreck after a beautiful person confesses to you. They still haven't announced season 2, but don't worry, I highly doubt they'll cancel it, especially with a solid 8.5 rating out of 10. But if you're like me and you just can't wait, let me tell you that the manga is way ahead of the story. So if you want to see what happens next right now, you can pick up exactly where the anime left off, at chapter 41. Naturally, the night after Kaoruko told Rintaro how she fell for him first, with everything in between, he couldn't forget about it. His parents hear him scream from his room. While his father thinks maybe an insect startled him, his mother sees right through him and asks if something happened again. Flustered, he denies everything and leaves the room, but soon comes back to ask his father for the day off, knowing he won't be able to focus at all. Meanwhile, his mom connects the dots easily, and when his father does the same, she is surprised because, as we know, he is usually shown to be a little dense and a total workaholic. But obviously, he has changed a little. He knows Rintaro made a cake for Kaoruko and that they talk regularly. He even figures out from his expression that nothing terrible has happened. He also mentions how he had planned to give him some rigorous training since the shop is closed, but Kyoko tells him to drop the scary face. In the end, he too takes the day off and decides to take his wife somewhere. She beams with happiness as they try to decide where to go. Back in his room, he is still screaming, as even now he can picture every last detail in his mind. He can't believe what happened. He had thought his feelings were completely one-sided and had even expected her to reject him. Then suddenly, a message from her arrives. He gets startled and blushes hard, but he takes a deep breath and tells himself to act normal, just like he always does. They chat for a while and he realizes that she is acting normal too. In fact, it feels like nothing has changed at all, which makes him start to wonder if it was all just a dream. But before he can overthink it, she asks him about the plans they made on their way home. Then, in the middle of their conversation, she suddenly calls him. He panics a little but answers the call. After a while, she says good morning, starting the conversation all over again, explaining that when she heard his voice, she just felt the urge to say it. He laughs, thinking to himself that just hearing her voice takes away all his tension. So she wanted to tell him about her plans for the summer and thought it would be faster to do it over a call. She then apologizes, explaining that her schedule is pretty packed with homework and other responsibilities. She only has 5 free days since she also has a lot of shifts at her part-time job. Hearing this, he grows worried and asks if she's even taking breaks. She replies that she had a similar schedule last year, so she's used to it. On the other hand, he gets a headache just listening to how busy she is. He wants to tell her not to push herself too hard, but she says she'll be fine because the thought of being able to see him motivates her. She then reminds him that he once said he wanted them to be together all the time, and she feels the same way. There are so many places she wants to visit and so many things she wants to do with him. To her, spending as much time together as possible is what going out really means. Hearing her say that, he can't stop grinning. Thanks to her words, reality slowly begins to sink in. She immediately offers to read her entire schedule out loud and tells him to stop her once they reach a day that works for both of them. He stops her right away and says he's free pretty much all the time, so he'll just match her schedule. Then he laughs, wondering how she was actually going to read everything out, and thinks to himself that she's a little weird. She catches him laughing, but he apologizes, and they begin to plan their next meeting. He realizes that until now, they always needed an excuse to meet, but this time the only reason they need is simply that they want to see each other. They settle on a day, and he can't help but think that everything feels the same as always. Yet something is slowly changing. On the day they decide to meet, he arrives at the spot early and immediately starts to feel nervous all over again. He reflects on how he's always the anxious one, while she's usually the one smiling so easily. As he waits patiently, he tells himself that the moment he sees her face, all of his worries will disappear. Suddenly, she arrives and apologizes for being late. To his surprise, it turns out she she is also a nervous wreck, proving that they're both in the same boat, feeling the exact same things. Noticing this, he smiles and suggests they go somewhere to cool off from the heat. But even after they sit down with their drinks, Kaoruko is still clearly in a daze. She accidentally adds far too much syrup to her drink, while he quietly wonders what he can do to help her relax. She's so nervous she can't bring herself to look him in the eye, and when she accidentally does, she blushes hard. Though funny enough, seeing her so flustered actually helps him relax instead. He realizes that she has been the one supporting him all this time, and thinks it's finally his turn to do something for her. Knowing that food always cheers her up, he tells her he's going to get another drink for himself, giving her the chance to order some food or anything else she likes. But she declines the offer and takes a sip of her drink, only to realize it's indeed very sweet. He starts laughing at her reaction, saying he's never seen her like this before. He tells her it feels refreshing to see this side of her because she's always so put together, whether at the festival or on the phone, while he's usually the nervous one. That's when she admits that she gets nervous too, though in the past, her happiness always outweighed her anxiety. At the festival, she was so happy just to walk beside him and talk with him that her nervousness faded away. It was the same on the phone. Hearing his voice always calmed her down. But now her dreams have become reality, and the more she thinks about the fact that they're actually going out, her mind goes blank and she can't even remember how they used to interact before. All she can manage right now is looking him in the eyes. She also admits that she didn't get a wink of sleep because she was too excited and nervous. In fact, she's been nervous every time they've met. After all, she's liked him this whole time. Seeing her hide her face in her hands, he realizes that he isn't the only one feeling these intense emotions. So when she apologizes for being weird and says she'll get used to it soon, he reassures her, telling her it's okay and that they don't have to rush. They can get used to it at their own pace. Then he admits that he couldn't sleep either, but knowing that they both feel the same way is reassuring. She says she feels calm thinking about it that way and smiles. He notices that it's her first smile of the day. After that, she returns to her usual self, saying she's glad they made things official. She even adds playfully that maybe she should bow too, to make it feel even more official. And that's how the two of them end up bowing to each other, before bursting into laughter. After that, she hesitantly mentions that she's actually feeling a bit hungry now. But as they look at the menu together, his hand accidentally brushes against hers, and she turns bright red all over again. I really love how there are still so many things they don't know yet, but they're moving forward slowly and steadily, step by step at their own pace, as from now on, this is how they want to enjoy their time together. And with that, we come to the end of chapter 42. In the next chapters, they'll go shopping and tell their friends that they're officially a couple. Their reactions are exactly what you'd expect. But for now, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to me. Take care of yourself and goodbye.
If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change.